Everyone. Hope you're having an amazing day. So, I'm super excited to actually hop onto this topic that I'm going to dive deeper and deeper in. It's really important, and I I hear from a lot of women, and what's been coming up lately is they they'll get involved with a man, or start dating him, or and things seem to be going well, and then next thing you know, he he pulls away, he ghosts them, he starts acting differently, and it creates anxiety inside of you. Hey Helene, it's good to see you. And so, or you're not quite sure what's happening. You might be, and let me know if you've experienced this, where you're you're connecting with a guy a lot, maybe you're text messaging often throughout the day, and then you've gone out on some dates, and then something shifts and changes. So let me know. Just say, yes, I've experienced this. Something shifts and changes where, maybe he pulls away, or next thing you know, you see a picture of him on social media with another woman, and it feels confusing. So here's a couple things I'm going to explain to you, especially in early stages of dating and getting to know someone. What what is happening too is they're exploring other opportunities as well. And maybe you guys have heard me say that before, but they are. And they're exploring the opportunity that they're going to feel most emotionally connected to. A man can be physically attracted to you. In order for him to spend time with you, spend time on more than one date with you, especially if you've met online and he seems to have liked your pictures. If he's met you one time and you guys seem to have a connection, you start to spend more time together. He's definitely attracted to you. He's probably sexually attracted to you, and he would probably sleep with you. That's not true for all men. However, that's the masses, right? It's not all about sex for them. What they want to feel is a deeper emotional connection, like us as women do. And oftentimes as women, we make the mistake of trying to create an emotional attraction through sex, or through connecting in the ways that we connect. So the ways that we connect are talking all the time, touching base, because we like to feel a lot of touch points. It feeds us. However, you get to create more touch points in other areas, because in order for a man to feel emotional intimacy with you, and this is what makes him curious, this is what makes him want to truly connect, and I'm talking about a healthy, good guy that has honest intentions when it comes to relationship. And if you've been down on your luck in love, I just feel called to say this, and you feel like it's just going to happen when it's going to happen. And the one thing I would share with you, because I've had a few people ask me about my coaching programs. I have a 90-day deep dive program which supports women in what's underneath in creating that emotional connection. So, and I'm kicking off a new 90-day program soon, but I work with my clients a lot around this, and helping you to manage your mind and learn how to emotionally connect with a man. because it's different, right? Like than the way that we connect. As women, we like to talk. We like to talk at each other. We don't always say, we will oftentimes talk about a subject, change the subject, interrupt one another, and we don't necessarily we do get in depth with each other because that's how we connect, but it's not the same way with a man. So the number one thing you want to do, and this will be the starting point of creating a deeper emotional connection. I'm going to give you two things today. The first one is zip it. Talk less than him. So there's a saying out there called listen to learn, don't wait to speak. And a lot of times, so the two things that will create a deeper emotional connection go hand in hand with one another. So listen to learn, listen to what he's saying, and let it digest. Don't jump on it and get all excited because you really want to share something, and then you get upset because you didn't share something at your coffee meeting that was really significant and had something to do with what you guys were talking about, and it was important. It's okay though, be another opportunity and trust that. So really slowing yourself down, listen to learn, don't interrupt a man. Because if he's sharing something with you and you interrupt him, he will lose his track. He'll lose his track of mind, and he won't actually be able to get deeper with you. A lot of women complain that they think that they feel like they're not heard from a man, and they feel like he's not really listening. But what I would invite you to take a look at is, are you listening to him? So it should be a 40-60 conversation or 30-70 on the first couple of dates. You want to listen to learn, and you want to, if you feel chemistry with this guy, you feel there's something there, you definitely want to dial it back and listen to learn. Because you want to know, who is this guy? You remember how I was talking about, I think last week, about good questions to ask on a first date so that you can really get to know where someone is. So when you listen to learn, you ask the question and let him talk and pause. Do, just a 3 to 6 second pause. Because oftentimes when a man is thinking, he's processing information. It goes in his brain a little bit differently. So what will happen is that he'll go on a deeper level. So, you might say, how are you doing today? Or, what did you think of, I don't know. And he'll answer the first question, and then he'll go deeper. And the second answer is more of the honest answer. And then you get to open up from there. So what happened with that? Wow, that must have been really challenging. Tell me more. And, all of us have certain levels and certain ways of being that we inevitably are trying to protect ourselves. However, with a man, when he's first getting to know you, he's typically a little bit more open. Men aren't strategic like women. They don't try to hold everything in. In fact, it's just the opposite. So listen to learn is the very first key, and I actually call it holding space. And when you do that and you actually have, an energy about you that does that, it creates a deeper connection from the very beginning. Every person has different things that turn them on about people. They just do, One guy's thing could be, he's really about bettering himself, and he likes to listen to, Gary Vaynerchuk podcasts. And, if he meets a woman that listens to, personal development podcasts, that he finds that sexy, or, he likes her drive or whatever. This isn't true for every man. Men like a woman that's passionate, isn't afraid to share about something she's passionate about, and not trying to pretzel herself, right? So if you listen to learn, not cut him off, and then, the second thing when it comes to creating a deep connection is less is more. So again, these are interconnected, but less is more. So if you're getting to know someone and he's excited about getting to know you, hold back a little bit more. Don't talk quite as much as you might like to. Not that I don't want to encourage you not to be yourself, but allow him the space to come to you, to really pursue you. And, what that does is when a man has to work a little bit harder, even though he knows you're interested, he appreciates it more. And if he feels like you're listening, and as well as, he will do the same in reciprocal, he starts to feel safer around you. So there's a magic that happens within that space, and a space of, you might be a high achieving woman, or, a woman that's, raised kids on her own, and that knows herself, that's driven, that's, done a lot of great things. However, it's not about getting competitive with him or proving that, you can do all this. And because he needs to know, he already knows you've got this. He already knows that you've clearly handled yourself well. You know who you are. What he wants to know is he wants to know you and what's authentic to you as well. So he wants to feel safe to share with you, and share things that he might be scared to share with anyone else. And, that can take a little bit of time. But if you are doing the things that are getting you the temporary high, which is a lot of connection quickly, it's going to burn out just as quick. So you want to build up on that. And there's a certain rate of pace that you do that. And you want to look at, who am I? What do I value? Because your values and a man's values need to be interconnected, and that's how you create a deeper connection. He wants to feel that you respect him, and he wants to be able to communicate things on a deeper level with you. And I'm not saying you don't spend, a lot of time talking or doing that. Again, every guy is different, but he creates deeper connections too by doing activities with you, as well as you having the ability to hold space and, not go into that place of, well, if he's not trying to have sex with me, or he's not trying to, go there, that he doesn't like me. That's not true. If he can create an emotional connection and feel safe, that is going to drive him to want a deeper commitment with you and not go in this, hot potato, cold potato type of way of being. So over the next couple of days, I'm going to talk more about emotional connection and how to create that and why it's so important in relationships, dating, connection, and the different levels of emotional connection that transpire. One thing that I'll tell you is that men at different stages of your dating relationship, they're in a different space mentally around it. So he could be dating other women, but actually building a stronger emotional connection with you. And then he processes it, I can't even say it, and realizes it, and then wants to be like, yeah, this is the kind of woman I want to be with. I can get into some unhealthier types of connections and tendencies as well, because I think that's important to see. Because if you have a pattern of dating the same kind of guy, or a guy that's on again, off again, or a guy that you're constantly trying to fix, I invite you to listen to this or reach out to me and connect, because, the people that are most successful hire coaches, hire trainers, and start to really get to know themselves and do the work to dive deeper into what's happening, so that you can actually have that deep connection that you want. So I'm going to go into this magnetism thing over the next couple of days. I see a lot of you on here, and I know you're thirsty for this, because we live in a world that feels so flaky and flagrant, and frankly, part of it is. However, you can create deeper connections. The number one thing is, it's not personal, so we can't make things always about us. And I'll share a quick story in closing. I don't even know how to share this story, but I realized a pattern of mine that had, there was a little bit of a wounding there. That was an emotional trigger. So once we start to see emotional triggers, or what it was, and something that I had seen as a pattern of not feeling good enough in relationships. So I had a pattern of getting involved with men that I felt like they were holding on to something from their past, that they were still holding on to the girl that got away. And so I had to look deeper into myself, into, well, am I doing that? What part of me is that resonant towards? So the answer is no for me today, because I consciously have made an effort to do that work and releasing. And sometimes it comes up, right? We all have things that come up. However, it's making that connection of then, making sure you know how to communicate effectively with a man if you feel that trigger, right? If he talks about another woman, or, gets a little defensive about something, it isn't always a red flag. However, you can't make that personal if you're triggered by it, right? You get to get curious and explore. So that curiosity piece is something I'm going to dive deeper in tomorrow, because curiosity is the key to deep connection. I hope this helped today. Let me know if you guys have experienced any of this where it's hot and cold and you want a deep emotional connection. Just type, yes, I'm ready. Great, because we're going to dive in deeper. around this. I'm sending you guys lots of love. Happy Tuesday. Bye, everyone.